Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Demonosophy and Beyond. You already know who I am. Um, Tonight I'm going to talk to you about Queen of Hell and Primal Craft. This is a system that I've been working on for quite some time. Um, it has so far 7 books, and I'm working on the first one because the first trilogy, there's like 2 trilogies, and then there's a new book that just came out. um yeah, so the first trilogy, you kind of have to work them in order, and the first book is Queen of Hell, which is semi-dedicated to Hecate. um in the Primal Craft, the 3 main deities that you will be working with are Hecate, Lucifer, and Belial. And I'll show you the book. All right. This is I don't know what version of it is. It was reprinted, and this isn't like a deluxe edition or anything. But I bought this off of primalcraft.com. It's very well made. The author, Mark Allen Smith, takes pride in his work and does a very good job. What I do like about the author is that he makes himself available to those who have questions about what he's written. And let's see. So I'm just going to show you some of the pictures that they have in here. This supposedly is a picture of Belial. And you've got Lucifer. Then you've got Hecate. Now, there are quite a few different things that working the Primal Craft has done for me. One, before the Primal Craft, I was hesitant to work with Hecate because I'd had a bad experience trying to invoke her years ago. And I already talked about this when I did my video on Hecate. And so the Primal Craft actually got me into her and working on building a positive relationship with her, which I have. So that's a good thing. And if you want to know more about my relationship with Hecate, you can go and see that video that I created some time ago. Excuse me. It also helped me form a relationship with Lucifer. And the first time I tried to invoke Lucifer's energies, they would give me a headache. I wasn't really getting much. And so at that time, I had made the decision not to really work with him. But Primal Craft changed that. And Primal Craft has also introduced me to both demons and other spirits that I had not previously worked with. Such as Belial, and you would consider him a deity since he's part of the big 3. Surgat, Euronymous, who else have I talked to? Those are just examples. But anyway, the Primal Craft also improved my relationship with angels, because now I have dealt with them, and I don't have pushback, and the energy doesn't feel like it is suppressive. So those are the positives about Primal Craft. There have also been major things that have manifested in my life when I started doing this, working this magical system. Now, when it comes to Hecate, my relationship is, I'd say we're pretty close. I feel like she cares about me. She has given me wisdom on many things. She's very serious with me, but not in a cold manner, and not in a way that strikes fear into me. She's just kind of deadpan, and it's almost creepy sometimes. There was one time she was talking to me, and she was in humanoid form, but she wasn't blinking, and it was just kind of disturbing for me. And I feel like sometimes these entities are so big and so grand that we don't really know how to process them in our minds. So it's either like fear, or it's just kind of like we don't process them at all, or we try to, like, our minds try to kind of humanize them, which I feel in a sense is both good and bad, because these entities are not human. And I think that was a big problem when I was trying to make contact with Hecate. I could not see her as a human, being in humanoid form, because I knew that she was way grander than that. But she has since come to me in humanoid form. In fact, she's come to me in many forms. I call her the goddess of 1,000 faces. Yeah. So Lucifer, my relationship with Lucifer, I feel like he is very protective, but he's also very fun to be around. He's very jovial. He has a youthful spirit. He's come to me as a Jamaican man. He's also, I didn't see him in this form, but like, he's also come to me as a child. Like, he spoke to me with a child's voice. He's also appeared as a dragon and a red dwarf sun. And when invoking him, I always tend to be in like a very light and goofy mood. And he feels like he's just ready to use his energy at all times. As for Belial initially, he is one of those entities that kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone. And he's an acquired taste. I'll put it that way. But later on, when I contacted him, like, he does a lot of things where he'll force you into scary situations, or they're scary for you, but they're to help you grow and evolve. But then later on, he kind of came to me one time, and he was in the form of a guy with a top hat and a crazy mustache. And he came to me and said, I asked him why he was in that form, because I had seen him in other forms. And he's kind of amorphous. Like, the first time I came upon him, he was constantly switching forms, and he wouldn't stop on one, except for the scorpion. And he stopped on that for like 2-3 seconds, and then started changing again. But when he came in this form of the man with the top hat, he told me that he was trying not to scare me. which was a little bit too late, but hey, it's about the thought, right? In this book, I've worked through maybe a third of it. And the reason why I've only worked through a third of it, even though I've been working through it since November, is because it's not something that you want to rush through. It's the book, I feel, encourages creating a relationship with the entities that are inside of it, at least in the Queen of Hell so far. You need to establish a loving and close relationship with Hecate and Lucifer and Belial, because they are going to be the ones that carry you throughout the whole practice. As you get deeper, you have to have faith in them, you have to have love for them, and you have to put yourself in their hands and trust them, because there are a lot of pitfalls in this practice if you're not careful. Sorry guys, it's just been a long day. Anyway, then there are other witch gods that they call them that you have to establish a relationship with. For example, Surgat is actually a pretty cool demon to me. He's actually one of my favorites to get in contact with in this book. And I believe that he was originally talked about in the Grimoire Verum, Verum. But Surgat, he is the unlocker of things. That's his forte. And I have been experimenting with the things that he could do. And I found out that he can unlock parts of your mind to make it work more efficiently. He can unblock your chakras. He can unlock portals to different dimensions. And he can unlock forbidden information. That's the way I worded it, and what I got was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Then you have Euronymous, and I haven't worked a lot with Euronymous. I just asked him about death magic, and all he told me was that everything inherently knows death magic because everything will eventually die. He's very well spoken. He's very cordial, and I like him. But I haven't spent a lot of time with him. One of the interesting rituals that I did involved mixing Lucifer's energy with Michael's. A lot of people believe that angels and so-called demons are at odds, but there are many times when they work in concert. I've learned this from one of my associates who deals with angels, and I learned this from apparently this book right here, through his ritual. And it's a very intense ritual when you mix Lucifer's energy with Michael's. It also involves basically bonding your mind with Hecate's as well. A lot of this stuff, in fact, all of it is very, very intense. And the reason why you want to work through this little by little is to get used to the energies that you are dealing with, because they can be a shock to the system, especially Lucifer's. what they do is when you create a relationship with Hecate, you get used to her energy, and she kind of is a buffer for the energy for everybody else. And gradually you get used to the energies, and it does something to your aura and helps to elevate you and change you and help you evolve into a new person. There are some rituals in here that this is not a grimoire that you go through and you just pick and choose what you like. There's a lot of it that you have to work in not chronological, but like in order, because it prepares you for the next ritual that you're going to do. It's a step-by-step process, because sometimes, like, there are steps at the beginning of the book that you have to incorporate into the more advanced stuff, or there are entities that you have to be close to or have a relationship with first before utilizing them in some of the rituals in the book. I've read through the whole book, and to be honest, when I first started, I had no clue about anything. I really didn't understand a lot of it, and I feel like when I started working through it, and especially after I asked Surgat to start opening up parts of my mind, that I started to understand more. I was also reading from the other books, and they baffled me. But I'm starting to understand more. It's starting to become clearer and clearer. And I believe that this is another reason why you shouldn't jump ahead. Because you need to build a foundation. A very strong foundation. And once you build that foundation, then everything becomes clearer to you. Also, as stated by the author, Mark Allen Smith, there are some things that you cannot do out of order because it could possibly bring you harm. This is not a system that is a hobby. This is not a system that you screw around with. This is serious work. This also is not a system that is for people who want mundane or petty things like money. This is for spiritual evolution. Like once you establish a relationship, Hecate and the rest of the Trident, which are the big three, will take care of you. And it may be rough at times. It may not feel like you're being taken care of, because you have to be kind of toughened up in a way. But yeah, like, you eventually get the things that you need. So that should not be a concern when working the system. Or if it is a concern, you can go do other work, and then come back to it. Another thing about this book is that there's a lot of side work to do in between the rituals that are in this book. When you make contact with Hecate, she may tell you to do something else and go on what I call like side quests. Lucifer or Belial may do the same thing. And it's good because it helps to kind of establish a relationship with all of them. That really is all that I can tell you about Primal Craft so far. All the books are very interesting to read. It's a very interesting system to get into, but I would tell you that it is not something that you go into lightly. You have to be ready to let the goddess of transformation change you. You have to be ready for change and evolution. And that change and evolution is going to be difficult. So this is not for people who are weak-willed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. I'm hoping everybody's having a good night. And I'll talk to you later.